Torres Rodriguez. I am your proud superintendent, and I want to welcome you all this evening. I know that we have food here, so please feel free to help yourselves at any time throughout the presentation. Annually, a report is given to our Board of Education on SGCs and their effectiveness. As you know, school governance councils represent what it is that we aspire every single day, and that is a true partnership between our schools, our parents, and our students. And so tonight, we'd like to have an opportunity to share with you some successes, knowing that the success of our students is a shared responsibility among all of us. And so I know that I will leave you in good hands with both Nushette and Carla, and of course, with the rest of the presenters today, so that we really can get to see how a partnership, how an effective partnership looks like at the school level and the impact that that has on our student success. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Nushette.
Thank you, Dr. Torres. Yes, it does sound like you. Can you hear me? I mean, yes, perfect. All right. So we know that as a district, everything that we do, first and foremost, is anchored and tied to our district model of excellence. And there's a nice star, you probably can't see it, but hopefully in the handout you can see that talks about strengthening relationships with our families, businesses, government, faith-based groups, and the larger community. And so tonight we're really going to be looking at how we have strengthened that partnership with our families as it relates to our school governance council, as well as the community. All right? Everything that we do, we know it's tied and anchored to our district model of excellence. So school governance councils. So of course, school governance councils, it's something that was created as a part of the state education reform law that requires our schools to have that type of partnership with our families, the community partners, and teachers in each of our buildings. And so the School Governance Council, their main role is to serve in an advisory capacity to really look at programmatic pieces, budget pieces in our buildings, and to really help move the school towards academic achievement. So that's just a little background about the reason why we have school governance councils. So tonight we have members of school governance councils here. I want to take a moment just to pause to recognize them. I think that's really, really important. So if you serve on an SGC in your local school, I'm going to ask you to stand really quickly. You're going to have to use your outside voice and just tell us the name of your school and how many years you are serving in that current capacity at your school on the SGC. So if you're here, I'm going to ask you to just jump up really quickly and do that for me. Any SGC members here? All right. Well, there we go. Okay. Can we give them a round of applause? All right. And we can start over here on this side. If you could just shout out your name, school, and how long you've been serving on the SGC.
My name is Maurice Lewis, and I serve at Global Communication Academy, and 2 years I've been on the SGC.
Thank you.
My name is Cheryl Knight Perkins, and I'm at Breakthrough North Magnet, and I am part of I'm the head teacher / site director for the Before and After School program for the YMCA.
Hi everybody, I am Caitlin Jacobs. I'm the math coach at Breakthrough North, and this is my second year on Breakthrough's SGC.
Thank you. And that's exactly what we like to see, a nice mix of individuals that are serving on our SGCs in our buildings. So we want to share some highlights with you about the work that has happened through the Office of Outreach, Engagement, and Partnerships to really get to high-functioning SGCs. And so Carla Cruz is going to come up. She is the manager in our department for family engagement, and she's going to talk further about SGCs and what we have done this year to ensure that we have fully operational existing SGCs in all of our schools. Can we give her a round of applause?
Thank you. Good evening, parents, students, superintendent, and board members. I'm going to take you a little bit on our report by tiers, and I know you may see it back there or not. I'll take you down by the tiers, yes. So just the beginning, yep, slide before. So our report is designed by tiers. Tier 1, meaning you're seeing color green, and SGCs are in full compliance. So tier 1 in color green let us know in our office that a school governance council in that school is in full compliance, which means all 14 members are elected and assigned in that SGC, so it's in full compliance, meaning all 14 members all vacancies are filled in an SGC. The next tier is tier 2, which is in yellow. That let us know in our office in a way of tracking our school governance council's compliance that SGC is full, is in compliance, but it's missing probably 1 or 2 vacancies in the actual council. That doesn't mean that the council is not functional, that they don't meet regularly, they don't have regular meetings. They just mean they just have 1 or 2 vacancies in that council. We also have tier 3. The tier 3 let us know that either the council in that school is not in compliance at all, which means there's no active school governance council in that school, or that they have 5 or more vacancies. Our report actually gives you parents, teachers, community leaders, and members in the total of members. Let us know that which area our schools need the best support. Is it the parents that there's too much vacancies on the parents' perspective, or on the teachers or community leaders? And that's how we're able to provide support. The collection of the SGC data was established to inform our office, our schools, the need of support. Can you hear me? Better. When you go up and down. Up and down, so let me try to keep the microphone up. In the month of November, the data in which we will, was the most accurate, you can go to the next slide. You'll see in the bottom, it will let us know by tiers. Tier 1 in the month of November of 2018, we have 12 schools. Tier 2, which means the yellow tier, which is vacancies of 2 or less. And tier 3, and the total amount of those schools that we are actually overseeing. And this report was actually began on November of 2018, and it was designed to let our executive directors know weekly of where our compliance on school governance council. Here I'm going to take you to just the month of February. So I split the report in beginning of the year, mid-year, and end of school year. So this report will show you can go to the next slide, the February compliance. So as you notice in the previous, in the month of November, we began with 15 schools that were actually out of compliance, meaning they have 5 or more vacancies in their council, and it was our office tasked to support them school by school. And as you can see in the month of February, that school, the district became now in 8 instead of 15 originally. The report, again, just lets us know school by school which schools need the best support one-on-one, and the report allows us to see that. And here we have the month of May. You can see. And I want to share a humongous highlight from us. We are ending our year, our fiscal year, with 0 schools that are not in compliance in the district-wide. That is a humongous achievement from the month of November. We began in November with 15 schools in tier 3, which meaning they have a lot of 5 or more vacancies or not functioning. To end the year strong at 0, that is a great opportunity for our schools, for our directors who supported us through that process. So here this data will show you as of May of 31st, which the data of our schools where we are. Here is just an overview of the 3 months in the report. The report is just letting you know parent, teachers, and community partners what is the capacity in each school. Here's just a rundown of the month of November by numbers with the tier 1. Again, tier 1 meaning they're in full compliance, there's no vacancies. Tier 2 meaning that there is a few vacancies on that council, and tier 3 meaning there is 5 or more vacancies November, beginning of the year, to mid-year, and to where we are and how much we have accomplished making sure that our schools have functioning school governance councils. And I also wanted to have a comparison from last year. Where were we last year? How did we finish last year to how we finished this year? So the data shown, it just lets us know where we were last year. And last year, we actually ended the school year with Tier 3 schools, which means we have a total of 4 schools last year who were still not in compliance, and to this year actually ending the year in 0. So you just gives you a draft of last 2017-2018 school year to the 2018-19 school year. One of our tasks and responsibilities of our office is as well as providing the training that the school governance councils need, and this year we provided the school roles and responsibilities, budget training, and parent compact, and school improvement. But this year, it was a little bit, we did some additional trainings. We actually added another budget training this year. And the reason for that is because we wanted to make sure that our school governors council were fully understanding of our school budget model. And that we launched it in the winter of 2018 to making sure we allow school governance councils to ask us the questions, to be part of the process. But before the budget was adopted, we met with them again, just trying to let them know, here we are now, a few months later, where you are. We just want to make sure that before the budget is adopted, that you have a full understanding of the process by school. So that was an additional training that we did this year. Another additional training, we did 2 additional trainings actually. Fall and spring. That was the principal interview process guideline. The reason for that is because we wanted to make sure the school governance councils district-wide understand fully our process on what takes place when a principal vacancy occurs in a school, regardless if your school wasn't a vacancy or not. In the principal perspective, we wanted our school governance council throughout the district to understand the process. So we began a launch in the fall, and we also launched it in the spring, just to make sure that if we didn't catch you on the fall, we wanted to make sure we catch you at the end of the year. And with that is our report for the School Governance Council for the year. I'm really excited, our office is really excited to share this report with you and the effectiveness of the School Governance Council and the important voice that all of you have in your school.
Thank you, Carla. And this was her first time presenting at a forum like this, at a workshop like this. I think you did an amazing job, so thank you. Wanted to make sure that we are also highlighting the various members of our team, and she does great work with our SGCs throughout the year, so really wanted to give her that opportunity. So publicly, thank you, Carla. So in addition to the work that our school governance councils do, yes, we heard about the budget, we heard about the principal process, they do a lot of work in their school buildings. And in addition to the budget, there's something that I like to refer to as links to learning that really emphasizes that homeschool connection. And our SGCs, they also have a hand in that. So Rawson STEAM School, the principal is Dr. Tyresha Batchelor. She wanted to be with us tonight. She could not, but she shared her information. So over at Rawson, how they ensure that there's links to learning through their SGC, they do it through various ways. They have a chairperson, a strong chairperson for their SGC, who is definitely involved in the interview process in their building, of course, thinking about the principal process, that's one piece, but also having that SGC weigh in on other interviews that are taking place in the schools. The SGC are a part of their learning walks. Again, ensuring that that's that homeschool connection. So the SGC individuals, whether you're a parent, a community member, not just a chairperson, when they're having a learning walk. What's a learning walk? During the learning walk, they have an opportunity to look at what is happening through the academics, through the curriculum, in the building, and the SGC is invited to be a part of that. Also, the data-wide meetings in their buildings. The SGC has an invitation to come and hear about the data that is happening in real time in their building and to be a part of that process. Partner meetings. We know that here in Hartford, we are partner rich. We have lots of partners in our buildings, lots of partners that want to do work with our schools. The SGC is instrumental in hearing what does that partner want to bring to the table in our buildings. And the SGC chairperson, that's one of their really important roles, is to kind of go through that information with the principal and the other SGC members to ensure, is that a good fit? Does it meet the requirements that we're looking for in our building to really link the learning to our families and to our students? Also, they help to organize PTO events with the PTO. And the last thing she wanted me to mention was they support school-wide events. So we talk about ensuring that there are those academic components. They have something called a skeleton bee at Rawson. During that skeleton bee, students are really honing in on the science components. The SGC is involved in doing that. When they have their inquiry night, they're a STEAM school, so when they are talking about inquiry, again, focusing in on the academics and making that connection to home and school. Did I turn it off? Uh-oh. Can you hear me? Okay, much better. And making that connection to home and school. So at Rawson STEAM School, their SGC is really involved not just in the budget process, not just in hiring a principal, but also in the academic components and the partnership components within their school. So that's really thinking about that role of SGC, not only as advisory, but really a viable thought partner in what is going on in their buildings. All right, so we have a member of the Breakthrough North SGC who's going to join me up here. And she's going to take a moment to talk to you also about what their SGC is doing as it relates to linking home and school and those links to learning.
Hi, everybody. Is that working? Now I know why everyone's asking if you can hear me. I can't hear anything. Okay. So this is my second year on SGC, and a lot of the work that Breakthrough's SGC does has to do with the day-to-day logistics at Breakthrough North. So we've had a lot of say in staffing. So when the budget comes around and we need to determine different staffing needs, the parents, the teachers, the community members all have a say in what is going to support our students best and what staff needs to be in front of our students in order to provide the best possible instruction for them. We also work really closely on arrival and dismissal procedures. So based on parent feedback, we looked at data from the school climate survey, from surveys that we sent out, and determined that arrival and dismissal procedures were an area that could be improved upon. So as an SGC, we partnered with the PTO to determine what would be needed in order to improve that process, to ensure the safety of all of our students, to ensure efficiency when arriving and dismissing our students. We also worked really closely to support our pre-K programming. Again, we received a lot of parent feedback, and we took that feedback and determined how can we improve our pre-K programming with our pre-K 4s in the afternoon. What could our programming look like for our 3s? How can we include more community partnerships? What does that instruction look like within our pre-K classrooms? During that time, we had pre-K teachers and pre-K parents come into our SGC, even though they were not on our SGC, to receive their input as well. We are receiving a new building in 2020, so our SGC has been vital in those decisions. They have been a part of that process throughout our experience in designing the new building. So the SGC has provided feedback on what spaces that we might need, what the spaces should look like in order, again, to support student success. The SGC had a hand in appointing new positions. So we this year have a STEAM teacher for the first time as opposed to a Spanish teacher. Again, we used a lot of feedback from parents, staff members, and even students to determine what would be more effective and efficient in our programming, and we decided on a STEAM teacher, which has worked out awesome. Other than that, just a lot of feedback, a lot of input from families and parents. When it is not in a closed SGC, so when we are seeking feedback, when we're trying to make decisions, we invite parents, other teachers, other stakeholders to the meeting to ensure that everyone's viewpoints and perspectives are being heard so we can make the best possible informed decision.
Anything you want to add, Ms. Shara? Okay, great.
That's Breakthrough. Thank you.
Thank you. So as you can see and hear, that definitely the SGCs in our school, both at Rawson and at Breakthrough, they are very involved in what is happening in the day-to-day running of their school, and that's really important. So this year, in February of 2019, the Office of Outreach, Engagement, and Partnerships, we wanted to take a moment and just pause and say thank you to the individuals that have stepped up to serve on our SGCs, as well as our parent-teacher organizations. So we hosted an appreciation event for them, and at that event, over 65 members of the SGCs and PTOs attended. We had a guest speaker. It was a really great night, really to encourage them, to kind of say to them, thank you for the time that you're investing in your school as well as into the district. And the major theme that came out of that night was that definitely we're partners in education, PIE, P-I-E. Maybe I should have brought pie tonight. That'd have been a nice touch. So in addition to that, not only are SGCs working on their school initiatives, but also as a district, we call on them from time to time to be a thought partner in our initiatives. So this year we've had 10 to 15 SGC members from across the district participate in focus groups with 4 Points Consulting to help our office kind of inform the work that we're looking to do. In addition to that, we rolled out something called Zendesk, which is a customer service platform. We had SGC members, PTO members, other families and parents weigh in on that. And also, most recently, when we were getting ready to share information from the BAR data that we received, we also invited members of our SGCs to be a part of that dialogue and conversation. So yes, they are working in their schools, but they're also being a thought partner with the district and what we need to do, and also with our initiatives. So next steps. So what's next? So this year we heard about the success of the SGCs, that we are ending the year with 0 SGCs being in that tier 3, being out of compliance. That's huge. And compliance is a word that people are like, oh, it's kind of like check a box. No, when we say compliance, we're talking about the functionality of that SGC. An SGC cannot be high functioning if there are several vacancies. So our next steps is to create a month-by-month calendar over the summer that will provide support, continued support to our SGCs on various topics. Topics, of course, will include, again, budget. Topics, of course, will include, again, the principal training. But we want to support them as they're looking at the Title I dollars in their building and where is it going? How is it being utilized? Support, again, around more of those links to learning and that homeschool connection. So yes, we have many schools that are already doing that. We've heard from Breakthrough, we heard from Rawson, but we, again, with a little more intentionality, what is happening around curriculum and academics and guided and close reading. And of course, looking at the calendar to best support new SGC members. So that's the next step of work from the Office of Outreach, Engagement, and Partnerships. This year, we were able to achieve our goal that making sure that we have functioning SGCs that do not have vacancies, but those are our next steps to build that frame and to really help SGCs kind of map out their agenda and what the frame for their bi-monthly or monthly meetings will look like. So those are our next steps for our SGCs. So a lot has been said. Again, our SGCs are a powerful body. We want to continue to support them, continue to assist them, and next year we're hoping to return with even more data and information around what they've been doing across the district. So at that point, I'm going to stop. Thank you for your time and attention, but I'm going to stop for questions. Okay, so if there are no questions, then I will turn it over to Yvette Avila, our Chief of Schools, and we have Hartford High here with us and Kennelly, again, two schools that have high-functioning SGCs, and they're going to offer some highlights. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Good evening, everyone. So we have a special treat and honor. We have Kennelly School with members from their actual whole community, and I'm going to ask Ms. Cahill to come up with her representation. So Ms. Blackburn talked about SGCs as a group, but their extension and their work happens in many different ways, and so I'm going to let Ms. Cahill talk about how the work of the SGC extended to their presentation today. So welcome, Kennelly. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Woo!
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Oh, you're going to bring them chairs. You guys are getting chairs. Thank you. There's another one over here. Yeah, we'll start the initial first. I'll turn it over to you. Everything. Don't be nervous. Good evening, everyone. I am June Cahill, proud principal of Kennelly School, and I'm honored to have several very special middle schoolers and lots of their families here this evening. I want to thank them all for coming out tonight. We have a little showcase for you that is perfect to talk about tonight because it is a direct result of the Kennelly SGC. So when we discovered last year that Kennelly was going to remain as a pre-K through 8th grade school with all the redistricting and restructuring that was going on, our SGC families came to me and said, we're thrilled that the middle school is staying at Kennelly, but we would love to have a way for them to shine as leaders. And because there's so many elementary students in the building, they wanted a way for them to emerge as the true role models and the leaders in the building. So we brainstormed an idea called the Honorable Hive Society with the help of our UConn interns. And these beautiful and capable group of students are going to share a little bit about it with you. Testing. It's a little bit dirty. It's okay.
Good evening, Dr. Torres Rodriguez and Hartford Board of Education staff. Members, my name is Tylen Turner and I'm a proud 7th grade student at Kennelly School. These are my classmates.
Hello, my name is Danny Reyes and I'm in 8th grade and I'm a student at Kennelly School.
Hi, I'm Nadine Washington. I am a 7th grader at Kennelly School, and we're here to showcase a new program at Kennelly School.
We first will be introducing a short video of our leadership program at our school, Honorable High Society.
If you don't already know, Kennelly's mascot is a bee. That's why we have the Honorable Hive Society. That's the buzz about it.
In Introducing a new organization at Kennelly School. To honor outstanding 7th and 8th grade students. Are you a role model? Do you want to earn special privileges, like being the first to lunch or being able to walk in the halls without a pass? If so, pick up an info packet today. Info packets can be found outside the Yukon intern's office. Info packets can also be found in the main office. Come join the Honorable Hive Society today. Be a student leader at Kennelly and be the change.
So what we showed you today was created by our 2 Yukon interns, and that was shown to the students at a grade level assembly to try to really rope them in and get them excited about the program. And then
something that we just wanted to highlight, that part of our SGC, we do have our university partner, which we're so proud to shoulder up with our colleagues from UConn. We could not have done this beautiful leadership opportunity for our students without our partnership with UConn, and we're just so proud of the work that the young ladies sitting next to me have done, along with their colleagues, and just our strong partnership that UConn has brought to Kennelly. Our students, and you're going to see in a few moments, that they really have taken this on under their wings and really just soared with it. So we're just so proud that we're able to do that, and then the support that our partnership has had on our SGC.
So the Honorable Hive Society is in connection to our data from our surveys, our student surveys. So we noticed in our data from last year that the students' voice, the data for favorable answers were low, and also students' opportunity for leadership was low. So this year, we're very, very proud, because we just got back some data, and we are at a 98% favorable responses. So we're very excited about that.
So we're ready for our video that was produced and put together by our one and only Sammy, one of our UConn interns.
What are you doing here today?
We are preparing for our first HHS assembly. We're so excited to honor our first inductees.
What is the Honorable Hive Society?
It's an organization for natural leaders of our school who can apply and earn privileges, and it's an example of a positive reinforcement behavior model.
I believe that students can gain lots of opportunities from being in the Honorable Hive Society. First of all, they have this visual recognition because they're wearing their lanyards everywhere they go throughout the building, even to and from school. So everyone will know that they're part of this special group of students. I think it will give them a real sense of pride to represent the school and our community so well. It also gives them access to lots of opportunities. They have to fill out an application to be considered. They have to get recommendations from staff. These are all great opportunities for them to learn how to fill out job applications, high school applications, college applications, and I believe it'll just make them well-rounded and ready for their next stage in their lives.
Have you seen any changes already since the society has been created in the students?
It's definitely become contagious already. Students that were initially wary and not quite sure about it are now really excited to join. And certainly there's a buzz in the air about becoming a member of this elite society.
Awesome.
The next student is
It is brand new to Kennelly. You are the first promoting class, graduating class of Kennelly to ever have this opportunity. No one else has had it. It is the highest award that you can receive as a Kennelly student. When you go to high school, you'll hear about something called National Honor Society. It's very similar. These are the students that are academically sound, their behavior and character is amazing, and they've gone above and beyond to represent Kennelly School in a way that makes us so proud.
We would now like to announce the next round of students who have earned a place in the Honorable Eye Society. These students went above and beyond to be student leaders at Kennelly and prove their leadership qualities. Starting today, these students will be able to walk in the halls without a pass and go right in front of the lunchroom.
Tylon, why did you join the Honorable Eye Society?
I joined the Honorable Eye Society because I would like to spread positivity around the school. I believe that the students who are struggling and do not have any lanyards yet will be able to have a chance to have it in the future.
Kimberly and Manuela, what do you think of HHS so far?
HHS is a good organization to be in while you're in school. You could get a lot of privileges, and you get like pins every time you do like a outstanding thing.
It has a lot of opportunities for good students. We get a lot of privileges. Like we get to go first in the line as soon as we walk into the cafeteria, and we have cool pins and look really nice. And we get to walk in the halls without a pass. This is our pass. And it's just great, and it can go on a college application or high school for us, and it's just great.
How are you a leader and or role model?
I come early in the morning, I help out the little kids when they need help. I greet them, I serve staff, I help out the staff.
The buzz of the Hive Society have caused a lot of student behaviors to change in a very positive direction. Students are really willing to take ownership of their actions and really willing to communicate about the needs and wants in their school. And so, for example, because the Hive Society members can earn different pins, I've seen a couple of kids really focus on the environmental issues of the building, and they have come up to me, they've made posters, they've said, you know, we really want to get recycle bins into the staff lounge in the different classrooms. So it just goes to show that they're starting to take more pride and ownership in their environment. But I think overall student leaders come in very different forms, and some I think you can see right away students are like natural leaders, and then some are the types of leaders that rise to the occasion when they feel more comfortable. I also think student leaders are really good at advocating for themselves and for others and for equity. Being really willing to accept feedback from others in a constructive way, and then also being able to provide feedback to others in a constructive way just help kind of the overall quality of a leader.
And our thanks again to Sammy for making that great video. Nadine is going to tell you just a little bit about how she and all of these students applied to be in the program, because it is quite rigorous.
I'm going to tell you how to apply for the Honorable Hive Society. To be accepted into the Honorable Hive Society, you will have to have good grades, good attendance, and good behavior. When you get the packet from the main office or the intern office, you will have to do an essay on why you should be in the Honorable Hive Society. You will have to get signatures from all your teachers, especially Ms. Cahill, Mr. Shulman, or Ms. Valera. When you get all those signatures, you can turn your packet into the main office or the intern office, and you will be accepted into the pin ceremony.
And then Tylon is going to tell you about the buzz about all these pins.
I'm going to explain about what the pins are about. Once you are initiated into the program, you get your first pin, the B pin. You are given a catalog of all the pins that you can get from doing certain things in your own time. Once turned in with all 3 things done that you have to do on the pin catalog, all checked off and signed by who is assigned by, turn it in and you'll get the pin at the next pin ceremony.
So tell them about your art pin.
How I got my art pin is when I went to the after-school extracurricular activity, the art club, posting a picture around the school that is appropriate, and making a poster about a topic that I learned in a class.
And then Danny is going to tell you how the pins are related to privileges.
So, for Honorable Hive Society, we have privileges, 4 pins, and you have like all the privileges for this leadership program. One example of privileges we all have automatically once we're in the Honorable Hive Society is walk in the halls without a pass, go to the front of the lunch line. And this could also build up trust on you, and it could show younger students to become a leadership in the future.
And as we started today by explaining, the SGC had wanted more leadership opportunities. The younger students see these students walking around the building with their lanyards, and they're striving to be just like them when they get into middle school. So it has added a little bit of a contagious attitude around the building in terms of wanting to earn this. And go ahead, Tylen.
Ironically, once I finished talking to Miss Cahill, I went outside and there was a class of 5th graders right outside, and they were talking about the HHS board located across from the main office. However, when I walked out, the teacher, Miss Ashley, pointed out that I'm one of the members and had me explain what I had to do to get the lanyard.
Excellent. And at tomorrow's pinning ceremony, we are inviting the 6th graders as the audience so they can really strive to join them next year. And we're going to wrap up today with Ms. Bonet from the teacher perspective. And again, we have lots of parents in the audience. If they want to jump in, we'd be more than happy to hear from them as well.
I think one of the beautiful things, especially about having the UConn partnership, is a lot of times middle school, there's a lot of needs. And so a lot of times in middle school, there's a lot of needs. And so that in order for us to meet all those needs, the more capacity we can build with outside partners, the more that we can differentiate and get to the needs of the kids. And what's really great about this program is it's 100% student-led. It is student voice. They get to determine how their environment's going to look. They get to determine the type of programs they get to do with younger students, and they get to determine what they get to do out in their community. And if you can see here, we have 6, 7, 8 parents that brought their students along because they believe so much in this type of program. They know that if they can start local and start at their school base, then they can also change their community. And so that's what I'm looking towards my kids for doing, like being that student voice and being that community voice.
Tylan and the other students would like to know if you have any questions.
Yes.
This isn't really a question. I'm just really glad that there's a community out there for middle schoolers, because when I was in middle school, I didn't have this. So it's really nice to see like a community actually getting together and building up students to actually work harder for themselves. And I'm just, as a student myself, I am actually really proud to see younger generations growing up to be better than me.
I agree.
So now we have representation from Hartford High. But before Kennelly leaves, I just want to say that as they practice their leadership, I hope to see some of them coming back to Hartford and in a leadership role. And not too soon, but in about a couple of years, right? So we expect you to come back after you graduate from college. So now we're going over to the high school. We have a partnership that they would like to share with you. We have a student, a parent, and the assistant principal, Ms. Ferguson. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Superintendent Torres, board members, staff, students, families. My name is Vasiana Farquharson. I'm one of the assistant principals of Hartford Public High School. With me this evening is one of our beautiful and capable student.
Hello.
Ivy Mar Gonzalez, and her mom, Inez Lugo.
Hi.
Today we will provide you with a brief information about our partnership with the Connecticut Rise Network. You may ask, who is the Connecticut Rise Network? So they're a school partnership that helps to empower educators to achieve breakthrough results, helping all students realize and achieve their full potential. They collaborate with the school. They introduce us to our Rise by 5 strategies, which are our on-track data team meetings, which we have twice weekly. Our on-track coaching opportunities, where we have 3 on-track coordinators assigned to the 9th grade team. They provide support for students around their academics, behavior, and attendance. We have our summer bridge programs. We have our summer bridge programs for our incoming 9th graders, and we have summer bridge programs for incoming 12th graders, so our incoming seniors as well. We have our college and career supports, and we have our educator-led innovations. These are just some pictures highlighting students at our school. So you'll see in our picture we have Elizabeth Torres, who's a past student, and our current senior, Sadedine Adam. He is a refugee from Sudan who moved to Connecticut in 2015. So this is one of our success stories at Hartford High. He attended the nursing camp at Yale School of Nursing, and that is afforded by our partnership with our Connecticut Rise Network. They've learned skills in nursing and leadership and worked with students from around the country. Elizabeth just finished her freshman year at Eastern Connecticut State University as a health science major with a minor in biology. And next year, Sadedine will attend the American International College. These are pictures from our Innovation Fund. They do a lot of funding around donors' choose. So our students can get bus passes, because our teachers do put some projects onto donors' choose, which could be, some of our projects would be around bus passes. Thanks to the Innovation Fund on the donors' choose, since they don't get, some of our students don't get free public transportation, so we hand out bus passes to our students. So these are some of the pictures that highlight some of those things. This is a project that was funded on donors' choose by one of our teachers. We did snacks for students, and also snacks for our after-school program is called SOS, Save Our Students, so Save Our Semesters. We do that with our 9th grade students, so students who are off track, so they're not earning 6 or more credits, we have our after-school program that supports that as well. This is another project that was funded by Donors Choose. This is where one of our teachers did books and art supplies and basic school and classroom necessities for our students as well. And this falls under our Innovation Fund with our Connecticut Rise Network. What does it mean to be on track? We talk about on track in 9th grade a lot. And this means you need to be passing 6 or more of your classes, which includes English and math. It also means that you should be earning at least 90% of your attendance at school. We just have a little bit of data that we wanted to provide with you. 91% of our students who were on track during their freshman year, they all graduated in 4 years of being at Hartford High. So they graduated in 4 years. Only 35% of those students that were off track during freshman year graduated in 4 years. So we still have a lot of work to do, and we are doing a lot of work around that. So these are some of the things that we do in 9th grade. We have, this is called the on-track conferences. So the WHO. These are students' conferences. So the students conference with an adult in our school. The last conference we had, we invited some more of our staff members. So we had teams of our security officers, we had office staff who would conference with our students. What we do there, the student and teachers discuss the students' behavior, attendance, grades, and their on-track status, and we call that the BAG report. So behavior, attendance, and grades. When? So this occurs once marking period. So every marking period, we have these conferences where we support students in setting goals to improve their on-track status. Why do we do this? We ensure every student knows what it takes to be on track to graduation and college and career readiness. We discuss concrete strategies to improve performance for our students, and we develop student agency and additional positive student and adult connections in our building. The partnership with the Connecticut RISE Network, it also affords us to use the RISE data dashboard. So we use the data dashboard in many ways at our school. We look at kids' data when it comes from attendance to academics to behaviors. One of the reasons why we do that is, as an administrator as well, I use the dashboard a little bit differently from our teachers. I use the dashboard to look at student data a little bit more deep. And I also look at student and teacher practices to help to support teachers and students alike. We do have our RISE conferences, and we call them the RISE convenings. This is where educators in our building gets the opportunity to collaborate with schools from around the country. We observe and we interview leaders from turnaround schools. The conferences that our teachers have been afforded the opportunity to attend, they've gone to Chicago, they've gone to New York, Boston, and Connecticut. And lastly, something that's not highlighted in the PowerPoint is the partnership with the Connecticut RISE Network also affords students in 9th grade leadership opportunities. So we have quarterly men's and leadership conferences in our building, and this is where our students, and we also do a lot of celebrations around students being on track to go into 10th grade and beyond. So we do a lot of activities with students, and that's why Ivy's here. She's also going to talk about some of those activities, and I also wanted you to get the experience from a parent perspective. So Mom will share her story now, and then Ivy.
Okay, hi, good evening. My name is Inez. I'm Ivy Mar's mom. We moved here to Hartford around 3 years ago. We came from Florida. When we were in Florida, even though she had good grades, she was not that person so enthusiastic. She was very shy. She was always without friends. She was in her world. Since we moved here to Connecticut, the change has been big. She is very enthusiastic. She has a lot of friends. Too much, maybe. Hey. They go home and they all, mom. So I'm very happy with that. She's been very enthusiastic. She has more self-esteem. She is very positive now. She's in 2 groups, and she's always like trying to improve more. And all this enthusiastic will blame the school because she feels happy. She enjoys the school. She enjoys to be talking with the teachers, her counselor, and she has friends. But even that she has friends, she's not getting out of track. She's still on track, and she has good grades. I'm very proud of her. And she can tell you more about school.
Hello, I'm Ivy Mar Gonzalez, and as you can tell, my teachers and my mom have a very high picture of me, which honestly I actually appreciate a lot because I try my best to make a difference. As my mother said, I was very shy. I really wasn't outgoing as I am now because I'm different, and it's nice to see a change because I used to sit in that corner chair. I wouldn't talk, and now that I'm in programs that are actually helping me adjust to situations, actually improve in my academics, and actually make me consider more possibilities. That's what makes me like, I can reach higher than what I placed over for myself. As to say, there was this goal I used to set, like, oh, I can only do this, I can only do that. But when I got into Rise, it actually showed me opportunities and possibilities that I can go like far and beyond my expectations, which is actually pretty neat. Rise, I'm part of like an OWLS associations, like a leadership for women's, and I'm in, that's like for honored women that want to change. It's like they want to change the school, like any type of difference. They want to inspire women to make a difference. And also there's this other group I'm a part, which is the leadership of another women's group that is actually really, we do activities that other people, speakers will come to you, they will talk to you about their experiences, and it was just, it's like a good vibe. I don't know if you guys understand what that means, but it's like a good aroma, like a good, it's good. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say. I'm very bad at this, but besides that, it's like, it's nice to know that people are there to support you, to encourage you, and to understand the values that you can put for yourself, which is very nice. And as a ninth grader, I honestly think that this experience, this opportunities that I was given is the best thing I could have asked for. I've changed, I've made friends, and I'm helping. I honestly want to become a social worker. Thank you. But anyways, I want to become a social worker to help out the environment and kids themselves. I've already had a plan, like, to, after I'm done with high school, I will start already going to college, which I want to try for Harvard or Yale, which is pretty cool. And it's, I don't know how to explain it. Kids are really, the next generation is what's going to make this world. You can't just let them sit on their butts and play on their phones. You got to inspire them to be something that they don't think they can be. I've realized a lot in my friends, they don't have a lot of, a high goal for them. And I'm always there supporting them, like, come on, you know you can do this. What are you saying? It's the possibilities in your friends that help you, and you need to help the next generation, because that's what's going to make our world. So I might be a next generation, but the next generation after that, you guys know what I mean, So I honestly think that Rise is a big part of my life, and that this Rise has given me opportunities far beyond my expectations, and I love it, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys for having us.
Can you hear me? Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming out to our annual SGC forum. This concludes this portion of the night. I know that the board will need to go into executive session, but thank you for coming out. Thank you for shouldering up. We are getting ready to conclude our school year, but we still have lots of work ahead. So thank you. Summer Bridge, early start. If you haven't signed up, sign up. Getting all my reminders out. And please save the date, August 19th, for our back to school celebration and kickoff. Thank you for coming, and have a great evening.